Yo, welcome back to Gridiron Podcast. I'm your host, JB. As always, joining me is Devontae Forever. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, my dog? How are you?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Interesting NFL week 13, man. You know what I mean? Uh crazy, a lot of things happening around the league. We got an Odell sighting in terms of possibly being signed places. We'll get into a little bit of that. Just But before we get into that, appreciate everybody checking us out over on YouTube, Facebook as well. As always, if you guys want to be on the show, just let me know. But also, more importantly, if you want to comment on the show, it will be read on the show. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the show. Devontae, what is your opening thoughts on NFL Week 13? Of course, as always, give me your take on your squad, which would be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Um, I mean, we ain't gonna act like my take last week was that far fetched because if Minka just made the smart play on not taking the pick six back to the crib, but because realistically it was a pick six walking touchdown, but he did the smart thing and ran out of bounds so we could just take the knee. So, but
Right.
like I was literally that close to saying we was gonna win by 10, but now like our offense is growing. I do agree. Get George Pickens the ball. Nah, it's just that's really what it's got to be. Just give George Pickens the ball. Other than that, no, like it's pretty much everything I kind of expected. Like the Falcons run the ball, and Mariota is not as bad as I thought, especially in a
Right.
system like that. But we really shut them down in certain ways that like I really appreciate for my defense. So that was it. So that was it about for like my game. So then the other games, I watched a lot of different games. Um, a lot of injuries. That's my take on the week 13 is damn a lot of injuries. Like you got Lamar getting hurt, um, which sucks because he plays my Steelers this weekend. So like, all right, so like if we beat the Ravens, I'm like, all right, we go from like pick 12 to pick like 16 now. I'm like, damn, man. I'm like, we not even gonna make the playoffs. Why we keep winning? Like, what are we doing? But
Look, I
like
feel you on that.
it's like, come on, bro. Like, and then you got the Raiders who smacked the Chargers. They was just beating around the Chargers. Then you got the Niners who just screwed my playoff bracket all the way up now with Jimmy G hurt. It's like, yo, like it's a lot, man. But like a lot of injuries, a lot of things that's just I felt bad for the Giants and the Commanders for tying. That's just
Right.
that pretty much like give the Giants a lot of trouble in the playoffs. But it was a good week over and all in all.
Yeah, I thought the games were good. I didn't have any problems with any of the games. I thought some good football being played. One of the things that really shocked me a lot, which didn't shock you, was Philly just rolling the Titans. Now you called it. Look, man,
Mm-hmm.
I know Tannehill got hurt for a little while, then he came back and is playing well. But I know obviously AJ Brown being on the other side now. But their defense, they held the Chiefs to 20. They was holding teams to 20. They held the Bengals to 20. You know what I mean? So, but for Philly to just come in and just trounce them like that, because if there's the Titans are one of the few teams in the league left that play physical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They play really, really physical. They do not mess around with it. So for them to get trounced, it's just like incredible. But with that said, let's get into our first actual topic of the day, and that's where we're going to the NFC East. Look, man, Cowboys rolled on Sunday night. They came out and demolished the Fighting Jeff Saturday's Indianapolis Colts, which is not really a shock when it comes to that. You know what I mean? I did call the upset. The Cowboys just rolled them. Obviously, Philly rolled what I think is a pretty good Titan team. Obviously, not as good as last year, but a pretty good Titan team. These two teams are rolling, and you got the Giants and Commanders who actually tied, which will hurt them both in the end. But look, I ask this right now, man. I know the Eagles are in the division lead right now, but if you had to pick who is the best team in the NFC, Cowboys and Eagles, I feel like, no disrespect to the Vikings, but I feel like this is 1 and 2.
The Eagles. And it's not close. Like I'm actually again, besides the Vikings game, name an impressive win the Cowboys had. Exactly.
I mean,
Like,
they looked look, I'm not saying the Colts are like great, but they looked impressive in the way they beat the Colts. Remember, this same Colt team, they lost to Philly by 1.
I agree. Element surprise trap game. Weren't they 11-0 at
Okay.
the time? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I believe they were still undefeated at that time. Yeah. And once again, but when you go against teams that are actually good, name a team.
The
Name.
Bengals.
Nah.
They beat the Bengals.
Cooper Rush, correct? Cooper Rush. Let's be real here. Were the Bengals on your hot list on the first half of the season or the second half of the season?
Second half of the season.
Second
Okay.
half of the season.
And we'll
Okay.
definitely talk about the Bengals later on in the show.
Okay. Then you look at the Eagles. Eagles shut Justin Jefferson down just the same way the Cowboys did. So my point is the Cowboys have done zilch to put them in front of the Eagles because they're beating teams they should have beat already. The schedule is not that crazy. Like, I think their most impressive win, honestly, was probably when they beat the Giants the first time. When the Giants were still healthy and everything. That was probably their most impressive win this year, in my opinion, was when they beat the Giants in New York. I didn't have them sweeping the Giants. So, like, with them sweeping the Giants really, like, threw me for a loop. But other than that, when did they look like, who are they playing? Like, that's my thing about these Cowboys, because they're like a good team against very bad teams. They're not going to get trapped in the losing the game. They shouldn't. They're good enough to where they're not going to lose a game that they shouldn't lose at all.
Sure.
But I don't think they're good enough to beat a good team, is my point.
So you think there's no way in hell Dallas will beat Philly in a few weeks?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Well, so I technically agree with you in terms I do think Philly is the best team. And actually, I think Philly is the best team in the NFL, not just the NFC. However, I think you're bugging by saying it's not close. I think Dallas and Philly is like Philly right here. Dallas is like right there. And that's just because Jalen Hurts right now is bowling out of his mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Forget the running part. From a passing standpoint, he tore the Titans apart. And that's a good defense. Mm-hmm. That's a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Philly, look, man, they play physical. That's really it right there. Like Dallas, their defense is probably a little faster. Like when they could fly to the ball, the pass rush, Michael Parsons and the crew. So, however, Philly play physical on both sides of the ball, man. And like, y'all know I rock with offensive lines, and what Jason Kelce is doing from the center position. Forget Travis. What Jason Kelce is doing from the center position, he's nasty, bro. Absolutely. He's mauling people again, and like he's been in the league 13 years, 11 years now, and like he literally looked like he second year, he's second year player. The run game is ill, but right now Jalen Hurts is a separator, man. He's the force multiplier. Look, man, for a guy who got basically outed at Alabama and then when with the Oklahoma proved himself, he got to the NFL. They talk about maybe he should play a whole different position. Just the disrespect that he got. And now look what he's doing. He's literally rolling the NFL, the National Football League. He's rolling the NFL. Titans got a good defense. Go watch the Kansas City Titans game. Go watch when the Bengals played the Titans. And he didn't even play the fourth quarter. And I know AJ Brown, AJ Brown's on his side now, you know what I mean? And Devontae Smith is nice. I'm not saying he don't got weapons. But everybody got Patrick Mahomes got weapons, you know what I mean? We give him credit. Brady had weapons all these years. We give him credit. Rodgers, absolutely. You know what I mean? So just look how like they're rolling the league. However, so that's the side when it comes to Philly. But Dallas, this run game with Pollard and Zeke now kind of being the you know what I mean, like the spell back now with the power. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Dak Prescott. I'm not even gonna lie and act like he's playing well, but like you know what I mean, to me that's his ceiling, right? Playing well. The defense, their defense, their secondary is not Phillies, but that pass rush is nasty. And whenever if I feel like Dallas, they need to get punked in the run game, and then the next week they play well against the run. You know what I mean? Because they did a good job on JT. So I'm not saying that Philly's not the best team in the league, let alone the NFC, but Dallas is on the hills, and I will not be surprised if Dallas beat Philly coming up.
Okay, here I'm gonna tell you why I say it's not close. Okay, I can name you a bunch of different teams, right? That if the game's on the line week to week, who you got winning? You're guaranteed. I'm picking the Eagles over the Cowboys. I'm picking the Chiefs over the Cowboys. I'm picking Buffalo over the Cowboys. I'm probably taking Minnesota's offense over the Cowboys' offense in a clutch setting. That's 4 teams smack down. Right. Oh, and I'm taking Miami's offense over the Cowboys' offense. The problem is not the defense. The problem is can Dak Prescott win you the game throwing in the ball at the end of the game? And I'm gonna tell you this: no. Why?
Does he have to? With Pollard? With Pollard?
Yes. Jason, let's be real here. Let's be real here, dog. Every year the Cowboys get to the playoffs. How do they end up losing? Throwing the ball. Because they can't. Because think about it. What do I tell you about the Cleveland Browns? What do I tell you about a lot of teams? When you get to the playoffs, running the ball is essential. Am I running the
Absolutely.
ball? Running
Absolutely.
the ball is how you get to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
But when there's 1 minute and 30, when there's a minute and 30 left, you got the ball. You got to throw, bro. You ain't got time to run the ball. And can you get the job done? And have the Cowboys ever showed me they can get the job? No, they have not. No, that's why they go home every year in the playoffs. They got to show me that they can throw the ball and win the game.
So you don't see it. So you think Dallas they won and done?
Yes, like every year, every single year. Yes.
I don't know, man. And I'm not saying, like, for example, I'm not saying Parsons. Like, everybody's saying he's defensive player of the year. To me, it's Nick Bosa. Like, and I love Micah Parsons, but Nick Bosa, what he's doing right now is incredible. That's not saying Micah's not, but like Nick Bosa on a mission right now.
You got to go Bosa or Judon to me.
I'd even go Nick Bosa right now just because of when he's doing it. He's doing it on 3rd down, 4th downs. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But look, man, I think Dallas, they got something for Philly when they play. Man, I think it's gonna be tight game, 3-point game. I don't know who wins, but 3-point game. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna be a blowout like it was the Cooper Rush game. I know Dallas kind of fought back, but that's trash time, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, though. So like, look, man, I think Philly's the best team in the league, let alone the NFC. But I think Dallas is on their heels, man. I don't think it's like night and day. But let's get to these comments, man. Got some comments that came in. Jessica Brown, appreciate the love. DJ R&B, Cowboys more complete than the Eagles.
Hell no. No.
I will say that the biggest thing I like what Dallas is doing from their special teams. I like that. That. Eagles super cupcake schedule. And then he says, Cowboys are destroying the bad teams. Eagles are barely winning against the bad teams, saying basically Philly's falling for the trap games.
But what is Dallas doing against good teams is my question.
So you're saying the opposite. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. I got you. Shane Fink, a Philly fan in the house.
My man Shane.
Philly fan in the house. Hurt's going to beat down the Cowboys in Jerry World.
I agree.
Said Philly are pretenders, gimmick offense. Shane's deepest team in the league. They are. Philly rosters.
Philly's deep. Like that's something like better roster. What?
Yo, that defensive line rotation they got is nasty, man. It's nasty. And
secondary.
They do got a big loss. I don't know if you guys know Robert Quinn went on IR. Hopefully he'll be back. I don't know if he's actually out for the year, but hopefully he'll be back. And then Jeremy Forgy, Bills Mafia in the house. I'd be adding the Niners to that list with their defense. Yes, but we got to figure out what's going on with the quarterback situation right now.
Yeah, they ruined my playoff bracket. They're gonna mess up my playoff bracket.
And then Shane Fink said Eagles got the Titans GM fired. Yeah. Look, man.
Should have tuned into the show.
I know, right? The Eagles literally are a special team right now. They just it's closing it out, right? You know what I mean? Like if the Bengals got knocked out by the Raiders last year, nobody like the ascension of Joe Burrow and the crew, they don't really take that step. It's about what you do in the playoffs. So Jalen Hurts, as much as I'm giving him praise right now, to me, right now, he is the MVP. That's no disrespect to Mahomes and Burrow, to be honest, but right now he is the MVP right now, but it's about what you do in the playoffs. So with that said, let's go from the NFC to the AFC. We had a game that this past Sunday, the Raiders and the Chargers, man. So I'm bringing this up not because I'm a Raiders fan, just because everybody knows I wanted McDaniels fired, right? I've been pretty clear about that. I don't like his style. I don't like anybody from the Belichick coaching tree. But I got to give him credit. The play calling in the last 3 weeks has been great. He's been putting players in a position, which is what I thought he was not doing in the beginning. I will say Devontae Adams is funny how sometimes he'll drop a first down that's nice and easy, then he'll make some of the most ridiculous catches I've ever seen in my life, right? So with that said, obviously, I know technically they're still alive for the playoffs. They'd have to win out, which would put them at 10-7. And it's possible, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of like next year, with this squad that the roster, how good can the Raiders be?
Offensively, they can be really good. They can be very dangerous, and it's also cool because like they'll be the ones they'll be the very different kind of offense,
right,
in the AFC West and the AFC. Because think about it, Josh Bills, they gun the ball. You got the Chiefs, they gun the ball. You got the Dolphins, they gun the ball. Your offense is very 50-50, very run the ball, pass, run the ball, pass, which is actually a smart offense for you guys because Josh Jacobs is murdering people. So like you're gonna have to pay him. Right. But I think the thing is with you guys is really gonna be how far that defense is gonna go. So because like I feel bad. Whoever Chandler Jones's agent is pulled off the heist of the century because I gave him all that bread.
He had 3 sacks this year.
And bro did not show up the first 12 weeks, 13 weeks of the entire season. Bro didn't do nothing. Bro wasn't doing nothing. I thought he was hurt. I was like, I had to look. I'm like, yo, he played? Like, he wasn't doing nothing. Like, that was supposed to be a dominant tandem with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby on the outside. But I think you guys need a little more defense. Like, I think you need a little bit more defensively. So it's not like, your offense is not so burdened. But like, I think like, for example, I think you're like that. You guys are just a greater version of how we talk about Jacksonville and like Detroit where it's like a good draft will put you right smack dab in the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you guys are like one good, like literally this offseason. If you have a good offseason, you'll be right back at the top of the heat of things where the Dolphins are and stuff like that. It's just like this season, I just didn't think defensively because your GM's an idiot. He did like You're not there. You're not all the way there yet, but you guys have like the potential to be very good.
Yeah, look, man, I agree with what you said. I'm not as high on them beating the Chargers because you know how I feel about the Chargers, and we're about to talk about them in a few seconds. I'm not as high on the Chargers. I don't think they're as good as anyone said. When people said they were the Super Bowl favorites, I was like,
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
it's the Justin Herbert show. And he made a incredible throw on 4th and 12 for a touchdown to Keenan Allen, who's talking hella shit the entire game, despite not having the best game. And like I will say though, as much as like I rag on McDaniels, I'm starting to see his philosophy, right? He wanted to run the ball. I will say I still don't like some of his passing plays, but the run scheme he implemented has done wonders for Josh Jacobs. And I don't know. I know he lost 15 pounds in the burst he got. So now, as we saw the 86-yard touchdown he had against the Seahawks, he's been on a mission. And that offensive line, pass blocking is still a little but they can run block their ass off. You know what I mean? And that's Raider football. Run the ball. I know Carr could throw the ball. You know what I mean? Devontae Adams, we know, is a mega star. They're getting Waller back. They're getting Renfro back. Mac Hollins has done a good job. Foster Moreau has actually done a very good job being the backup, great blocker. So I do think they could be good. And even some of the additions they brought over, Jakob Johnson, the fullback's been doing a great job. Deron Harmon has been really good in the second half of the year at the safety position. I still miss Abrams. I wish we could have worked that out with him, but the corner's okay. They need to have a good draft. I agree with you. If they can have one good draft this year, I think next year they could be really good because that was always the year. I said this year, give me 6-7 games just to show that it's okay. And there are 5 now, right? Yep. Obviously, they played Thursday night against the Rams, a beat up Rams team. They should win that, and that's 6 right there. So we'll see what they end up with. But the games they dropped earlier in the year, they could have 8 wins right now. You know what I mean? They literally let 3 slip away from them over foolish mistakes like fumbles and stuff. But yeah, I think the Raiders will be fine. I think this year was a throwaway year for them and the Broncos. I know people are just completely down and out on Russ and down and out on Hackett. I think the Broncos will be better next year as well. So I do think the Raiders will be good. I think next year there's no excuse to miss the playoffs. Even if they miss the playoffs this year, I'm fine with it. But next year there's no excuse. They might even make the playoffs this year if they run the table. Their last game is against Kansas City, who might even have nothing to play for. And then the Niners, they got the Niners, Patriots, Rams, and Steelers. Those are the teams left. You know what I mean? So if they run it, they at 10-7 probably should put them in the playoffs because a lot of their losses was to NFC opponents. But now let's jump ship to the other side, and that's the LA Chargers, man. The Super Bowl, quote unquote favorites that everyone was talking about, what I call the Justin Herbert show, which. So I asked you, man, what's wrong with the Chargers?
One, One, the coach needs to stop playing Madden and be going for it on 4th and 7 all the damn time. Like I don't know what he be thinking, going for it so many times on 4th down. Just kills you with ball control and field control. Like if you got a team starting at the 50 every game, you're going to lose in the NFL.
Absolutely.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And two, I think the Chargers need a wake up call and realizing their offense is not as talented as people think they really are. Okay, like the Chargers have one of the most overrated offenses. Like offensive line is really good. Like right, like I love Sean Slater and them boys. Like I think
Banged up right now.
Yeah,
Right now, but yeah.
banged up. Like I like Eckler. I think Eckler is a good running back who gives you a mixture of everything. He can catch passes. He can run. He's strong. He's tough. Mike Williams. He's alright. He's alright. He's alright. He cool. He cool. And the most overrated receiver in everybody's top 10, Keenan Allen. I've been telling y'all this for a long time. Keenan Allen is incredibly overrated.
Leave him alone, man.
Bro,
leave him alone.
He is not no mega star in this league. I just don't understand why people was treating him like he's some top dog star. He's a good receiver. I don't think he's that big of a number one. Like, if I had, like, nobody's looking at Keenan Allen and company being like, oh, no, think about it. What other receivers is eating because he's on the field? When you had AB, other dudes is eating because Juju was looked at. People thought Juju was going to be a number one receiver because AB was on the field next to him.
Right.
You look at Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen be going crazy. Why? Because Justin Jefferson standing right next to him. T. Higgins is a good receiver. He ain't Jamar Chase.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who do that on the Chargers? Oh,
Joshua Palmer.
Like, stop playing with me, bro. Like, come on now. Like, and that's my point. Like, you look at that. I feel like the Chargers are literally just sitting there going, damn, we're not as talented in offense as we really thought we are. We're not the offensive juggernaut that we really thought we were. No, you're not. Like, right. and they got the same problem everybody else got. They're gonna have to fix it, sign somebody, and do something because there is not enough talent around Herbert to do anything.
Look, man, I think Justin Herbert's really good. Do I think he's as good as everybody says? Not quite. The arm is like he can make any throw ever, but the problem with Herbert is sometimes the decision making, right? Mm-hmm. Like he literally wanted the bomb at 80 yards when he could have took maybe 5 steps to get the first down, and instead he hitched it and got tackled by Chandler Jones for a sack. That play right there literally could have changed the game. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna focus on the defensive side because they had dogs on defense, right? But what did I tell people? I'm a big Khalil Mack fan, but he's always hurt. And then you know how I feel about Joey Bosa.
Overrated.
If third and 10, Bosa's that dude, right? 3rd and 10, he's that dude. He can go rush the passer. When it comes to playing the run, he not Nick. He's not his brother. You know what I mean? He's not his younger brother. They got rid of Tillery. For some reason, I don't know why they cut him, but what people may not know, he was a monster interior lineman for the Chargers. He played on Sunday, but he was on the Raiders. He had a sack. He sacked Justin Herbert. He's on the Raiders now. And the secondary, Asante Samuel Jr. is a savage, but the rest of the secondary is not. Derwin James played well, but for some reason, it's like, sometimes he a monster against the run, and sometimes it's like he don't want to be on the field. They need some linebacker in there, I mean, as well. But I don't know. Look, I know they weren't going to be as good as everybody said. I knew that. Like I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? And look, they are playing against Devontae Adams. Like he's a monster. We're gonna talk about our top 5 wide receivers in the league, and he's probably gonna be on both of our lists. So obviously he's a dog, and we know that. But the Chargers are a tough one, man. Like, for example, like the Bills coming in, I knew the Bills were going to be good. I knew they got the defense. I knew they got the offense. I knew who they had on special teams. But the Chargers, I was like, there's still holes. It's the same team from last year, pretty much. You know what I mean? Offensive line got a little better. They banged up. But yeah, there's no way this Raider team should have just trounced the Chargers like they did. I know they won by 7, but if you watch the game, Raiders just beat them up. They beat them up offensive line and defensive line. Crosby was a monster all over the game. Eckler fumbled. You know what I mean? So I think next year the Chargers, I think the Raiders will be a lot better next year. I think the Broncos will be a lot better next year. The Chargers, I think, is going to be the same old team. You know what I mean? Like, they're another one. I'm like, I don't know quite what they're doing. They need to go out. They need to get a real slot receiver. Because I do agree. I'm not as down on Keenan Allen as you, but I don't think he's like Devontae Adams. He's not Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? He's not Stephon Diggs.
Nope.
So that's why I'm like, he's not those guys. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one. But let's get to these comments real quick. Jeremy 4G was good, bro. Bills Mafia. Thank you. Adams and Jacobs again in fantasy killing it. Jacobs is a savage right now. That man on a mission, man. He on a mission. He on a mission to get paid. The Raiders better pay him. They better pay him, because if not, I have a feeling teams like Buffalo would sign him in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of teams around the league who's seeing what he's doing. Like, we could use that. Hell, Kansas City could use that. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, like the Raiders, they have to pay him now. And like, actually, I hope they do it like now. He also said Baker Mayfield, Rams really desperate. You know what? I hope he plays Thursday night against the Raiders as a Raider fan. You know what I mean? Like, right. Yeah, I know Stafford on IR out for the year with a spinal contusion. Prayers up to him. That sounds crazy, but yeah, it's gonna be tough for them. Milton Maloney was good, bro. He said Eagles. Yeah, look, man. They beat down a really good Titan team. I don't care what anybody says. That's a really good Titan team. Jeremy 4G. He's still young, dude. Wouldn't it be a thing if the doctor didn't try to kill Tyrod Taylor? Well, yeah, he really did with the injection into the ribs. But yeah, I have no problems with Herbert. I'm not saying like he's trash. I think he's excellent. But the problem is, it's like they want to throw him up there like he was in the playoffs doing things. And hell, the Chargers might miss the playoffs again for the third straight year. Yeah, this was a team everybody said was going to the Super Bowl, and they might not even make the playoffs again. Milton Maloney said, "Not AJ Brown." Leo, all I'm saying is, looking around the league right now, this top 5 receivers thing we're gonna get into a little while is a little harder than I thought it'd be, because there's a lot of guys playing well, like right now. You know what I mean? And there's going to be some people left over off of our list that are like, how can you leave them off? I'm just going off right now, week 13, who the top 5 in the league. So, and next week, we're going to do running backs. The week after that, we're going to do quarterbacks, coaches. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's get to the next thing we're talking about. And that is probably the biggest game of the week. Kansas City, Cincinnati. The Bengals just got the Chiefs number right now, right? That's 3 straight victories all within this calendar year that the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs, and they kind of beat them the same way every time. Don't let Patrick Mahomes really get outside the pocket. They've done probably the best job on Travis Kelce I've seen. I know they stripped him for a fumble. And then on offense, it's become like the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase show. Like, it's literally been like that. And T. Higgins is like, put him one-on-one. He's going to run the slam. He's going to burn you. So I ask you right now, going into the playoffs, because obviously I think we both believe both of these teams are going to make the playoffs, of course. Are the Bengals just better than the Chiefs?
No, I just think it's just a more favorable matchup.
Okay.
I just think some teams just have your number because their matchup is just better. Like, you can be better talented, more talented, more well coached, stuff like that. It's just the fact that once this team goes against this team, it's a matchup thing. I think NFL is a very big matchup thing. Like, for example, you look at like a couple of years ago, you look at how every year the Colts try to get into the Colts are every year. Well, besides this year, obviously, every year the Colts try to go to the playoffs, right? Every year they run into Jacksonville. Jacksonville beats the Jesus out of the Colts every year. Jacksonville is never better than the Colts that year. It's just Jacksonville just knows how to. They're just a matchup that favors their team. You know what I'm saying? Like, somehow, like that's why, like, that's why I didn't think the Bengals beating the Chiefs was a big deal, because I don't think that's a test for them, because they've proven that they're a more favorable matchup. You can use Joe Mixon to punch you in the face, because then you worry about Jamar Chase, and the Chiefs till this day do not have anything to stop Jamar Chase. Right. So I always thought that the biggest test for the Bengals are the Buffalo Bills. They get past the Bills, that's when we need to really start speaking crazy about the Bengals, because like I think the Bills are there because the Bills can punch you just right in the mouth, right in the face, and they got Stephon Diggs, who the Bengals can't cover either. So
Right.
like,
Yeah, of course.
so I think like they're more of like the equal matchup than the Chiefs were, because the Chiefs play more of like a fancy, smanchy, pretty football, and the Bills will just punch you in the mouth if need be. The Bills can win both ways.
Sure. Yeah, but look, man, I think the answer is yes. I think the Bengals are better than the Chiefs as a football team. Obviously, I'm not saying Burrow's better than Mahomes. I think the Bengals are better at literally everything else. I think the Chiefs' offensive line is slightly better now that the Bengals' offensive line is playing better. I think the Bengals have a better defense. They have better linebackers. They have a better secondary. I also think the receiving core is not even close. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to Kelsey, of course, but look, the Bengals, they just know how to beat the Chiefs. Like literally, they have their number. If the Chiefs beat them in the playoffs, I would not be surprised, but I would have picked the Bengals because I do think they're a much better team than the Chiefs. As overall, Chiefs, when would they stop relying on Mahomes to do everything for them? You know what I mean?
They won't
Stick to I know. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't get it. I know, and I like Andy Reid. Like, you know how I like the way he approaches the game of football, but I think they're making a huge mistake and they're leaving possible Super Bowl championships on the table. In terms of this Bills Bengals matchup, I think it's closer than you think. Because the thing I like about Buffalo is they can rush the passer now with Von Miller, of course, if he's healthy. And I love the way their linebackers, Milano, and Edwards, the way they play the run, right? I like the way they play the pass, but not as much, right? It's the way they come up and they attack and make the run. Now flip it onto the side of the Bengals. Obviously, you got Hendrickson and you got Hubbard. I love the way that they play the run. When it comes to the linebackers, here's the key. The way Milano and Edwards play the run is how Pratt and Logan play the pass. And that's what makes the Bengals dangerous. They wasn't singling Travis Kelce. The linebacker underneath, they're playing like safeties who could also come up and play the run. You know what I mean? Like neither unit is bad at the other thing. It's just Milano and Edwards are great against the run, and Logan and Pratt are great against the pass. And I think that when it comes to a guy like Dawson Knox, that's advantage Bengals. Obviously, Diggs, Chase, there's nothing you could do with those guys. They're gonna eat, right? Allen, Burrow, they're gonna eat as well. But the key is mixing. You know what I mean? Buffalo's rushing attack with Josh Allen, if you add him into it, is good. But I think the Bengals' rushing attack can be great off of the fact that the way they throw the ball as well. So I think it's close. I think obviously the Bills have a better secondary. We know this. But the Bengals' receiving core against that secondary is just as special, if not even more special. You know what I mean? And I think guys like Higgins, Boyd, Hayden Hurst, it's a close one. I don't know who to pick in that matchup. And I've been on the Bills the entire year. They were my Super Bowl pick, literally my Super Bowl pick. But I'm starting. I don't know, Jeremy. Bills Mafia, this Bengals team, they're kind of doing what they did last year, where it's like at the right time they're starting to click. You know what I mean?
I don't think the Bills get. I don't even think Cincinnati gets there. I don't think they get past the Bills in the playoffs last year either, just because of style of play and matchup wise. It's like
last year.
One thing we don't talk about the Bills is that yes, they got Von Miller on the outside. We don't talk about how solid they play on the inside. Absolutely. Like Ed Oliver ain't no damn scrub. Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver ain't no damn scrub in any case, form, stretch, or imagination.
Right.
And their linebacking crew, like, if you ask me, I think Matt Milano might be, like, if there was a linebacker of the year award, he might snatch it. Because like he would have snatched it. Because Matt Milano's been playing ridiculous all year. Just ridiculous. Like, against whoever team he plays, he's been playing stupid crazy. Right. But I like the way I love the way, I just think that fact of, like, the Bills are the best matchup for the Bengals because you can play any style.
Right. I agree with that.
And obviously, I think about it. My division plays the Bengals all year. The reason why the Bengals always have close games with everybody in our division is because we fight right back. Like,
They punch back.
Punch you right back. The difference is, but the reason why the Bengals always end up probably either winning the division or coming in second is because they play fancy. They can play fancy football all the teams in our division have not figured that out yet. We can't play fantasy football. We
Sure,
can't.
yeah.
We can't just go out and just gun it 60 times to win the game. We're all not equipped for that, and that's what makes the Bengals the outlier, and which makes the Bengals win in our division. But
Right.
you're now the only team that can do both are the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So that's why I think this is the matchup. That's like, if they beat the Bills, that's when like we really gotta stop playing with Cincinnati.
So
Like,
do
that's
you
their
think
toughest
both of these
test.
teams are better than the Chiefs though in terms of like the playoffs? You think the Bengals could beat the Chiefs again in the playoffs and the Bills
Yes.
could beat the Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So like we're kind of on the
This is their
same
toughest
page.
test. Yeah.
We're kind of on the same page in the sense of
Yeah.
like the Chiefs would probably be third in the conference. We kind of flipped on who would think the Bengals versus, you know what I mean, the Bengals and the Bills. But yeah, I mean, that's the game I really wanted to see for the AFC Championship. I know the networks and stuff love Mahomes, and rightfully so, but all eyes on this Bills Jets game, because now the Bills with the Chiefs losing, the Bills they kind of jump right back into the 1 seed, right?
Yep.
And the wild part is the Bengals ain't too far behind. I mean, with 5 games left,
Yeah.
they might even be able to snatch the 1 seed. You know what I mean? So, especially now with Lamar Jackson being hurt, which now I think the Bengals will go on and win the AFC North now. But I guess with that said, let's get to these comments. Jeremy Forgy, definitely not Super Bowl. They were not even close to Chargers. Yeah, I know. People, they always say every year the Chargers they somehow jump right back to the Super Bowl favorites. Like, and they do this every single year. It's crazy. Will Maloney, the Bengals need to be consistent every week. They beat the Chiefs, but then take a loss to a bad team. Yeah. That Browns game should have never happened. I don't know what happened with that. I really do not know what happened in that Browns game. They got off the bus just not even ready to play football. I don't understand. But like lately, it seems like they're starting to get it now. You know what I mean? Like at this end of the year, this is what we say March is with the NBA, where it's go time. Jeremy Forgy, thank you, Niners. Thank you, Vikings. Thank you, baby Jesus. Bengals will hold down that 1 seed. We'll hold down that 1 seed now and have the playoffs run through the frozen tundra. Bills Mafia, homie. Look, the crazy part about Cincinnati is it get cold as hell there too. You know what I mean? Like, so like the Bengals, regardless of where the game is, let's say the Bengals get the number 1 seed, and whether it's in Cincinnati or Buffalo, it's gonna be frigid. It's gonna be hard hitting. That's the game I want to see. You know what I mean? That's why Mahomes could do what he wants to do next year with throwing the ball all around. I want to see hard hitting football. Von Miller will be back in 3 weeks. He said on his podcast. Yeah, like Von's not going. I want to see Von out there. I love Von Miller, man. Like, he's another one who's a dog. Thomas J. Burgess, hey, what's going on? Bengals have a nasty duo running that ball, which Buffalo would get a legit runner besides Allen. I know that's why everyone's saying that Buffalo would be ready to get Josh Jacobs if he becomes available, which as a Raider fan, I'm like, hell no. But I see why. Because if Josh Jacobs was on this team right now, Bills win in the Super Bowl. I don't care about the Eagles. You know what I mean? But he's not. So, and I still think that's a slight hole. No disrespect to Singletary. Speaking of Singletary, I think Devin Singletary and Cooks are heating up now with Allen on the QB runs. Will match their run game, but I think it'll be a very good game. Yeah, I think that'd be the playoff game of maybe the last 5 years, and we've seen some good ones. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Thomas J. Burgess, either beating Chiefs is a toss-up. All 3 teams are just amazing. Going to be crazy to see who wins the AFC. Who do you got right now winning the AFC, Devontae? I'm still picking Buffalo right now, but I'm not going to lie. At first, it was Buffalo, defiant. Can't tell me different. But the way the Bengals been playing, it's getting there. But for right now, I'm still Buffalo. You had a Kansas City, right?
No, I had Baltimore in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, okay, right.
I had Baltimore in the beginning of the year. In his first 4 weeks, I looked like I was dead right. I was like,
yeah.
yeah. Lamar came out wilding. I was like, oh, right. Well, I would definitely say I think I gotta go give it to Buffalo now because the Chiefs just dropped this game. They're gonna end up giving the ball. I don't think Buffalo going through Buffalo now instead of like the other way around.
Yeah,
going through Arrowhead. I don't think people, especially if you see how these fans are psychotic, like in that frozen cold tundra. bro, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be nearly impossible for Buffalo to blow it that bad. Like
Yeah,
if the
it'll be a
Buffalo
meltdown.
if Buffalo loses the number one seed, loses as the number one seed, there's gonna be problems. Let's put it that way.
If Josh
That's your
Allen,
shot. That's your shot.
Josh
You
Allen,
can't blow it.
it's one thing. Josh Allen has to protect the ball because
Yep.
sometimes that rocket arm he got, I want to throw it through guys' chest, and it ends up right into the hands of the defender. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He needs to just get down. He's gonna have a fumble in the playoffs. They might not lose him a game, but watch, he's gonna learn his lesson eventually. I know he's 6'4", 250. I know that, but like he's gonna learn eventually. Yeah, he's gonna learn eventually. Levante Armwood was a good family. He said, "Who do you think makes it in the NFC East and the outlook at teams that are in the hunt? Can Rodgers make it a late season surge to make the playoffs? I think the Packers are done.
Packers are done. Well, what do you think makes it in the
NFC East? Philly
and Dallas.
Philly and Dallas because of the tie. Before I had Philly, Dallas, Giants, but with that, I think that tie is going to hurt both the Commanders and the
Giants. And with the Cowboys sweeping the Giants pretty much just kind of just got edged out.
Yeah, in terms of teams that are in the hunt, call me crazy, and we're going to talk about them like shortly, but I'm still not off the Bucks, man. I just feel like it's going to be one of those surprises where all of a sudden everybody healthy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, you see how it got quiet when I told y'all watch what happened when Tom Brady started winning games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, it got silent. There ain't nobody talking now. Was it 3 game winners? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like
I think the Packers are done though. I think I know they came back and beat the Bears. I know that, but I think the Packers will be better next year. All if Rodgers is still there. I think Watson is coming into his own. I think Dobbs will be good. I'm not worried about him. I still like the rushing attack. I just think they're done for this year.
Yeah, they got some work to do.
Need a legit rushing attack. Allen's the only real threat. I agree. I do not like the Bills' rushing attack right now outside of Josh Allen. Dog fight. Jerry Forgy, don't jinx us. Don't jinx us, D. Come on,
bro. Like I'm sorry. Like we know about the 4 Super Bowls in the 90s.
Right.
There is no way. Y'all get the first seed in the NFL. You get the first seed. You have home field advantage. In Buffalo. There is no way y'all could blow that. There's no way. No, there's no way.
So it's gonna be another crazy down to the very end. Yeah, absolutely. I think these playoffs might be set up to like be some of the best playoffs we've seen in a long, long time.
And they get a new stadium. Oh, come on!
He says the East is grabbing all the wild cards. I don't know. Seattle might have something to say about that one. Seattle, hell, the Lions are still alive too.
The Lions could. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, me too. I love that Lions team, man.
I can watch the Lions play like week in and week out.
Absolutely. All right, so we got 2 things left. Let's talk about the game last night. Obviously, New Orleans Saints had the Bucs number ever since Brady got there in before, to be honest. But Brady now swept them. So, in kind of similar fashion, defensive game, struggle game, of course. Bucs didn't look too hot in the beginning. Then, obviously, the Saints, 13-point lead all of a sudden with 3 minutes left. And Brady and crew went to work. I do think the Saints should have called a timeout before they scored that final touchdown because they look lost. And usually that's when the coach calls timeout. They come out, they see, and then they call a quick timeout. They didn't. Brady did what veterans do, you know what I mean? Drove them down, got the touchdown, and got out of there with a W. With that said, a lot of people are asking this question because the Saints bro, it's really hard to blow a 13-point lead. With under 3 minutes to go in a football game. You know what I mean? And shout out to Carl Nassib, had a huge quarterback sack to basically give the Bucs the ball back. But I'm asked this, was it more Saints collapse or a Brady comeback?
I'm going Brady comeback. Why? Because he had to drive them back down the field 3 times in a row to win the game. I believe it's 3 times in a row to win the game because that's how many points. 3 times in a row to win the game. And then we don't talk about how on that one on the last series, he threw a touchdown to Godwin, called back for holding. So then he threw another. I said, all right, threw another touchdown. We don't I'm not here for the press because just 4 weeks ago, everybody, he's done because the whole him and Giselle thing was going on. When I was telling you, just hold on. He got a lot on the plate right now. Like you can't. That's a brother's family. Just hold on, let him figure it out. He'll be all right. Like let's not let's not act like we're not talking about the greatest of all time.
Okay.
Like I told people, he may be Jordan on the Wizards. Jordan was still averaging 25 on the Wizards. We're not going to act like Jordan wasn't no all-star. We're not going to act like Jordan was no scrub. We're not going to do that because nobody still is a better quarterback. Nobody still. There's a reason why you look at last year. Who was voted number 1 by the top 100 NFL players? Tom Brady. Tom Brady was number 1 at 44.
Right.
Bro knows how to win. So you're telling me I don't want to hear nothing about no, he fell off this, because let's be real here. If you screw around and you keep him close, if you keep the game close, he gonna win the game.
Yeah.
You look at last year. If the Bucks basically didn't just blow the game by letting Cooper Kupp run right down the seam, they probably win that game.
Right.
Because he came all the way back from getting blown out. Made it a one score. Come on now, like that's my thing about what makes Tom Brady great is not really nobody looks at Tom Brady's in-game whole fourth quarter progression on how he does great. No, it's the last 2 minutes. You know he gonna win the game.
Yeah,
that's what separates him from all these great quarterbacks. That's why I don't trust a lot of quarterbacks because they can't do that part. They can't win that game with 40 seconds on the line, a minute on the line. That's why you got your Josh Allen, your Patrick Mahomes, I got Lamar. I throw the Lamar in there for it. You look at all these quarterbacks. The reason why they're so all GOAT Mahomes, Josh Allen, because they know how they can proven they can win games when it counts.
Right.
That's the thing about Brady, and that's what he does best. And that's all that's showing. I'm sorry. That's all that's showing.
Look, man, I'm not saying what I'm about to say because I actually disagree. I'm not saying that Brady didn't him and the crew didn't get it done. Mm-hmm. But 13 points in under 3 minutes and the Bucks had timeouts missing. Mm-hmm. That's a collapse. No disrespect to Brady. I think he's the greatest. But that's a collapse. All you do, get the ball back, get one first down, it's a wrap. And I know the Bucks defense is good. They weren't the reason why their record is where they're at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I get that. But that's a collapse. I think the Saints, I think Dennis Allen, although I think he is a phenomenal defensive coach, one of the best in the game, I think he's going to get fired, unfortunately, which I'm glad because there's talk he might end up replacing Patrick Graham with the Raiders because he's supposed to be the Raiders head coach, but they messed that up for Josh McDaniels. They need some pieces. They're a few pieces away, and I think the Saints will be back to being very good. But yeah, bro, 13 points under 3 minutes, and you got the ball back. What happened?
I hear you. Remember, you said the same thing about the Falcons when they blew it to the Patriots.
Yeah.
It get quiet when you stop running the ball. That's what happens when you stop running the ball.
Absolutely.
But then that's not Tom's fault. He still gotta go score.
No, yeah. He still gotta score. He scored 2 touchdowns. You're right.
I'm with you on the Saints collapse. But the thing is, the Saints weren't that good anyway. More importantly, I just had to say what I needed to say because I come on the show every week and I watch everybody try to fry me when I was sticking up for Tom. Get quiet when facts get thrown around. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. Let's get to these comments, man. It's that Tommy, the Saints are just off. They got to get things figured out. It's trouble. Yeah. The Saints. Look, man, they're a few players away. You know what I mean? They get a few pieces here. Hopefully, Michael Thomas, if he ever plays again, figure out the quarterback, and the Saints are back to being a powerhouse in the NFC. Jimmy Forgy, Saints should have picked up Baker. They need to figure out the QB situation because it ain't working. I agree, it's not working. I don't know if Baker helps that though. I'm not even making fun of Baker or nothing. I just don't think I don't know. He's the one. Just missing a few pieces and the Saints are legit again. I agree. Yep. And he said they haven't been the same since Drew left and Peyton. Yeah, absolutely. They're missing an offensive presence. They still got the pieces. Michael Thomas, if he plays, I'm sure he's still good. Obviously, Kamara is a monster. So, Jimmy Ford, you hope Tom comes back to the Pats next year and we break him so bad and puts him in retirement. Look, man, if Tom go back to the Pats, all of a sudden Pats being back to a 13-win team. Like Belichick and Brady is that duo. Regular season is practice for the Bucs. They'll figure stuff out all season and put it together for the playoffs. I think the Bucs are a scary team in the playoffs. I don't care if you're Philly. I don't care if you're the Vikings, Dallas, Niners. I don't think you want to see the Bucs in the playoffs. They have literally all the experience. You got you. All right, man. So before we get out of here, let's look at these top 5 wide receivers, man, and then we'll get a few game picks and then we out. Top 5 wide receivers, man. So this is as of right now. So if you're watching this right now, comment below your top 5 receivers in the league. So let me get to a comment real quick, actually. The homie, Steven Fox, Metrics. What's going on, bro? Nope, Bucs ain't that. Okay. All right. So not a believer in the Bucs right now. I got it. Bucs ain't that scary. Okay. All right. Don't need to win 13 to win the Bucs division. All right. Let's get to these top 5 wide receivers in the league right now. So the way we're going to do it, I'll get 5, Devontae get 5, I'll get 4, Devontae get 4, 3, all the way down to 1. All right. So Devontae, who you got for your number 5 receiver in the league right now?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. Why?
Dog is different. Like I've been a big fan of AJ Brown for like the last couple of years. He's just physical.
Right.
He's brolic. Like he's everything so far that like I was praying that Russ was going to turn DK Metcalf into.
Okay.
Just like his contested catch. I know he had the burners like that. Like he be smoking people down the field. I didn't expect that. He's every reason why you fear that X receiver. So like, you gotta go. You gotta. It's about time people are finally starting to put respect on his name. AJ Brown's a dog.
Okay. So for number 5 for me, and I know it's gonna sound crazy because of what the team, like the record, but I'm actually going DeAndre Hopkins. Like when he came back, the Cardinals, their offense looked better. I know they still got a problem with the coach and Kyler not on the same page and everything, but the way he's just helped that offense alone, I still think pound for pound, put him on a team with a better situation. I think he's right back to putting up numbers. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you said right now, is there only reason why? Because he was suspended for the first like 7-8 games.
I know.
D-Hop is to me during the half of these receivers. You can't argue that somebody's actually a better receiver than D-Hop. D-Hop is just different. Like D-Hop is just different.
You know what?
D-Hop is crazy.
You know what? You're right. Because of the suspension, obviously he's not going to have stats. I'm going to take him out. And at number 5, I'm actually going to put Jefferson. Justin Jefferson at 5. Because you're right. It's not fair to Jefferson because he played the entire game. All right, cool. Jefferson at 5. Obviously, he's a dog. You know what I mean? I know people are going to ask me why the hell is he at 5? That's because the other 4 I can't. You know what I mean? I can't move the other 4. So, who you got for number 4?
Number 4, I got. Not gonna like you ain't gonna like this. You ain't gonna like this. You're not gonna like this. I got Tyreek Hill at 4. I got the cheetah at 4. Bro is a cheat code, bro. Bro is so fast. Just darts down the field. Is always magic. Like literally, he's the only person you don't throw him open. He just runs himself open.
Right.
Like it's cheating. But I would say the reason why I got him at 4, I just think that like this year more have impressed me more. I would put it that way. I've been more impressed with some of these different receivers because like the Dolphins are a team that's like absolutely loaded. Dolphins are loaded. Like they got all a bunch of track runners on their team. They're just all fast, all speed. Some of these other receivers I have, they don't got it like that. It's just them.
Okay.
And now they got Jalen Waddle over there. Like I want to see Tyreek. I always wanted to see Tyreek Hill shine to see if he can shine just by himself. That was like one thing.
And you see that he good.
Yeah, And like what I'm saying is, but I don't think he's not alone because Jalen Waddle is not no scrub. Like that's my point.
Right.
Is he Travis Kelce? No, Travis Kelce probably gonna go down as a top 3 tight end ever to walk the face of the earth. But like Jalen Waddle ain't no scrub either. Jalen Waddle is stupid fast as well. Like you know what I mean? Like I love what Tyreek Hill is doing, but you'll see why I got my number 3. Let's put it that. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So number 4. This one was tough, man. This one hurt me because like all 4 of these dudes are my guys. You know what I mean? So like, what the order is gonna hurt no matter what. But number 4, I got Jamar Chase, and part of it is the injury, so like he didn't play as much as the other guys.
Yeah.
But you know how I feel about Jamar Chase, man. He's a freak. Like the way he could run, the route running, the hands, the way he gets feet on bounds. Remember in the preseason they said he couldn't catch. Then he just set the league on fire. Like Jamar Chase is special. The only thing I'm worried about is injuries. I know he has some at LSU, of course, and then now the hip, you know what I mean, stuff like that. But so I got him at 4 right now. But shit, he could be 1. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the 4, whoever's at 1, I wouldn't argue. So yeah, that's number 4. Who you got for number 3?
Justin freaking Jefferson. Okay, I got my son Justin Jefferson. Why? Because bro, he is the Vikings offense. Let's be real here. Dalvin Cook took a step back this year. Dalvin Cook was wilding last year. Dalvin Cook respectfully took a step back this year. You look at he got Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. All Kirk Cousins do is just throw him the ball.
Right.
He just be lobbing it up. He makes contested catch. He can do everything. He's a route runner. He can catch. He's a route runner. He can block if he needs to. He can catch a screen pass. He can run a deep route. He can run a deep curl. He can do everything you can ask from a possible receiver. And he was incredibly slept on because he went to the same school as Jamar Chase. Everybody thought this Jamar was just far way better. And he is proving people that it is not that far in between. Justin Jefferson has been smoking people all dang year. And we not gonna act like that. We are not if there's anybody on this list, I'm like, we need to put some respect on his name. It is Justin Jefferson. Why? Because in the biggest moment, in the biggest game of the year, in damn near the best game of the year against those Buffalo Bills, he put on a clinic and was the damn reason why they even got down the field. I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I had about 5, man.
I can't play with my man J Jet like that. No.
Look, I'm not saying that. Look, I get it. All right, I get it. Number 3, I'm going Stephon Diggs, man. The route running is just phenomenal. Like before, like this era, like guys like Jerry Rice, you know what I mean, Len Swan, like all route runners, right? Hell, even Mr. Annoying himself, Chris Collinsworth, could run routes, right?
Oh God, yeah.
But Diggs, the way he could run routes is just crazy, bro. Like, and he got the hands too, of course, you know what I mean, and run after the catch and everything. But he's special, you know what I mean? And the connection he's got with Adam, he's helped Josh Allen so much. Not that Josh Allen would have been good with somebody else, but like he's helped him so much. That's why he's number 3 on mine, you know what I mean? All right, who you got for 2?
Stephon Diggs. I got Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is, if you're not saying the name of Devontae Adams or Antonio Brown, name a better route runner in the last like 5 to 10. You won't. Stephon Diggs runs ridiculous routes, like absolutely criminal routes.
Right.
He's another receiver who literally runs himself open because his footwork is impeccable. He splits double teams. And more importantly, he is a dog. He is super tough, super physical. You can't jam him out the line. Like, he is the legit, in my opinion, he's one of the hearts, and he's literally the true heart and soul of that Bills offense. Like, Stephon Diggs is absolutely fantastic of a receiver out there.
Absolutely.
And he's been playing incredible the last 2 years. And he's another person, because he's quiet and he don't say much, you can probably people tend to sleep on him and tend to forget about him. Stephon Diggs is absolutely incredible. And he is another one. I think he might even be a bigger reason. For example, if Stephon Diggs left the Bills right now, I think that Bills offense will fall apart.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I agree with that. I agree. Like, I think he's that important.
He's that important to that team. He is that important to that team. So that's why I got I think Stephon Diggs is the best route runner in the NFL, but not the best receiver. You ain't gonna like my number one receiver. I say that.
So okay. So my number 2 is, and your face gonna get funny just because of how much shit I used to talk about this guy. But for right now, number 2, I'm going with the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. Look, man,
Okay.
I know some people take shots at him, right? Like he's just a speedster. I think he's proven that wrong. He can run the entire route tree. And the way he runs the crossers, I'm not even talking about a dig route. I'm talking about the crossers.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, he's pulling away from some of the fastest people in the sport. You know what I mean? And he can catch. He can catch a 5-yard route, and he's making guys miss. And believe it or not, he's running through some guys too. I mean, you can't arm tackle him. And like, it's no secret what he's doing from a stat standpoint. Look, man, Cheetah special, bro. Like, I knew it. Like when he left Mahomes, everyone's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Look, Tua is not Mahomes. He's not even close." But Cheetah's still Cheetah, and it's showing. You know what I mean? Because now all of a sudden, Miami has one of the most electric offenses. Not that Kansas City dropped off, but they are missing that type of speed. You know what I mean? They really are. Like, so I got Cheetah at number 2. I have a feeling number 1 for us will both be controversial. And then I'll check the chat to see what they got. So what you got for number 1?
Number 1 is Devontae Adams. There's not a damn receiver better than Devontae Adams. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, when you talk about everything we talked about in every receiver that we just talked about, how we like all these things from them, he has all of it. Devontae Adams is all of it. Devontae Adams is the only one who can do absolutely everything. He literally can do everything. Honestly, the only person I would ever, even when you go to last year, the year before that, the only receiver you could put in front of him was D-Hop. D-Hop didn't play most of this year.
Right.
Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he eats, and whatever you look at a lot of these other receivers, everything is out the gun. Everything is out the gun in 90% of these other receivers' offenses. Devontae Adams be doing this from under the center, bro. He does this in a pro run the ball offense, bro. Right. I don't want to hear it. Could you imagine you put him in just a simple gun offense? Then more importantly, do you see the way he gets open? He be getting open on the little jet sweep, little flag routes, and be running for first downs and more. Then you can't cover him deep. He can run across a route. He can do everything, and he's gigantic. And he catches all contested catches. He catches anything with the feet on the sideline. Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. If you go pound for pound, talent for talent, skill for skill, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league.
Damn. My number 1, Devontae Adams, man. And I know some people might be watching because they know I'm Raider Nation, but he was my number 1 last year. He's my number 1 the year before that. He's my number 1 the year before that. Bro, it's not just the hands, right? It's not the speed. It's the route running. It's the little intricacies of the route running. This dude will take a simple 5-yard out, and the way he does his little stutter step at the top of the route, head goes one way, whole arms go this way, and then he'll flip the shoulders back for the fight. Yo, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? The Denver game. And I know, look, the Raiders, the record ain't good. They got off to a slow start. I know that. So I know, like, he's not doing what Hill is doing on a Miami team, right? Or Diggs on a Buffalo team. But Devontae Adams, go watch how the Raiders won that Broncos game, the second one. The way he lost them. Look how he lost Asante Samuel Jr. against the Chargers. It's not a route that man can't run, and sometimes he would just be making up his own routes. And like, look, I know it was like, oh, he's probably regretting going to Vegas and playing with Derek Carr, even if that is his homie. But amongst all receivers in the league right now, he's leading the league in touchdowns. And he's quickly catching up in yardage. So, look, I know Carr's not Rodgers. I will never mistake him for Aaron Rodgers. But he's doing something right by getting Adams the ball. 177 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Chargers secondary, right? We'll see what he does against Ramsey, obviously on Thursday night. But as far as I'm concerned, there's guys I left off the list I could put in Lockett, Metcalf, you know what I mean? Pickens from Pittsburgh. There's a lot
CeeDee
of
Lamb.
receivers. Lamb. There's a lot of guys in the league who's on the come up. But as far as I'm concerned, Devontae Adams is the best in the league.
Right with
Until
you.
further notice.
Already, I'm right with you.
You put that man with a high school quarterback, he gonna catch at least 8 touchdowns like over 17 games. That dude is that special, yo. He's that special. So you got our list, guys. Look at the ticker on the bottom. Then we'll get into these comments. Devontae has AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and Devontae Adams. I have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae Adams. Let's get to these comments, man. All right. Let's go. Jeremy Forgy got Diggs 1. No surprise. Jefferson at 2, Brown at 3, Adams at 4, and Hill at 5. That's not a bad, but it's kind of the same list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I left AJ Brown off, which I easily could have put him on there. Steven got Hill, Diggs, Jefferson, Brown, and Adams, but Lockett is right there. Yo, Lockett, I forgot how good he is, man. Like, it's like, I think it's because he plays in the Pacific Northwest up in Seattle.
Bro,
Lockett's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
Feaster.
Yeah, he's a monster, man. Like, his hands is crazy. The route running, too. Jeremy Forgy, Chase would be 3 in mine, but he's been hurt. I agree. Him missing time, like, hell. At first, I had him at 2, but I was like, you know what? He did miss some time. You know what I mean? He's just like Jamar Chase is just special, bro. Like the route run is crazy. I know you left him off your list, but and I assume that probably has something to do with injury, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that hip.
Tommy J. Burgess, I just want to see all these guys run off without those gloves. That's an interesting thing, and see how much game changes if you can imagine Rice or a few past. Yep, sticky ass gloves. I agree with that. I will say I can't speak for them all, to be honest, and correct me if I'm wrong. But Devontae Adams has played some games without gloves. I know Jamar Chase has as well. I believe Jamar Chase played was that the Kansas City game or the Tennessee game? I think he played half the game without gloves. You know what I mean? He's still catching them. So, yeah, look, I know it's still a controversy with the gloves, but they catch them. Look, I think across the league, the amount of one-handed catches would be down. But these guys are just burners, and these guys are route running. They still gonna get theirs. Tyreek Hill don't even catch with his hands; he catch with his body. He's still putting up stats like that. Jeremy Forgy, I know that Jefferson catching that game with the Bills was crazy, but Diggs had a crazy one. Yep, he literally had a crazy one-handed cut, like literally 10 minutes before that. So yeah, Diggs is a monster, man. I'm glad he got to Buffalo because it helped with the ascension of Josh Allen to kind of put the spotlight on him as well, which is deserved. And then he ended up basically getting replaced by Jefferson, who's another amazing receiver.
Best trade I've ever seen. Most fair trade I've ever seen.
Right. Miss Hill, D needs to just heat him up in the first 3 yards to cut him down. The smaller guys just need to be bounced off. Yep. Look, I know the league. Look, there's some of these guys in the league who they do benefit from the rule changes, right? Especially what defenders can't do. He's my guy. He's one of my favorite players in the league. But Travis Kelce, can you imagine? It's different when you have to play against guys like Ray Lewis, who gets to beat you up. Patrick Willis, they get to beat you up off the route. So yes, but Tyreek Hill, he can play in any era. I know he probably get decked going across the middle, but speed kills. Adams, Diggs, Jamar Chase, they can play in any era, and nobody can tell me any different. Tommy Burgess, can't believe I missed Adams. Yeah. Adams, to me, man, like it's just he's like in baseball. You know how they say he's a 5-tool player. Devontae Adams is a 6-tool receiver. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing he can't do, man. Nothing he can't do. No doubt they're all great, but it's a difference maker. Absolutely. Like when you literally with the gloves, you could literally just stick one hand out in the ball just like that. Literally, like come on, man. They're just plucking them out the air. Jeremy Forger, I would have Adams more up there, but I mean, if he had a QB like Allen or Patrick, he'd probably be my number one. Look, man, say what you want about Derek Carr, but right now he got him the number one. He's number one in touchdowns in the league. So, like, look, I'm not obviously Carr's not Adams. He's not Allen. He's not Mahomes, but clearly he's throwing on the ball. So, I think you can't go wrong though. Obviously, Diggs. I mean, Diggs did this in Minnesota as well. So like all these guys, I think no matter where they go, they're going to be great. So that's that. All right, yo. With that said, let's get to week 14, which is crazy that we're at week 14. You know what I mean, Devontae? Like literally at week 14 already. We got the games right here. Starting off for Thursday night, the Raiders, who are now on a 3-game win streak, they visit the Los Angeles Rams, who I don't even know who playing for the Rams this week, if I'm being completely honest. Who you got, Devontae? Rams or the Raiders?
Raiders, for sure. For sure. We don't even know who's playing QB at that point.
Damn, all right. All right, next game, we got the Vikings and the Lions. These are two teams that you like. So the Vikings, obviously, good team, of course. And the Lions are teams that we just both love to root for. Who you got?
I got Detroit with the upset.
Detroit with the upset. Okay.
Detroit with the shocking upset, for sure.
I think Vikings. I think ever since that blowout to Dallas, I don't think the Vikings are playing no more. You know what I mean? I think the Vikings are ready, and I think they're gonna take care of business. All right. Next up, we got a AFC North rivalry game, of course. Ravens and the Steelers.
If Lamar was playing, I actually would have picked Baltimore, but because he's not, I'm going Pittsburgh with the W.
Actually, so I literally made this pick watching the Baltimore game. At first, I was like, yeah, Pittsburgh gonna beat them next week. But when I saw Huntley, I was like, I don't know. Baltimore, I'm going Baltimore. Baltimore by 3 over the Steelers.
I think we'll be Baltimore without. I think Huntley's a good quarterback. Huntley's definitely
I like him a lot. Yeah,
I like Huntley a lot, but I just don't think like it happens that even when we played him last year. Once the game got close, we kind of like crunched down on him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All right, next up we got another AFC North matchup: Browns and the Bengals. Deshaun Watson is back. Played okay last week, but what's your thoughts on that game? I think Bengals roll them.
Bengals roll them. The Browns they ain't got nothing figured out. The Bengals losing game would be hilarious though.
All right, big matchup in the AFC East. Jets at the Bills. I know who Jeremy got. Like, who do you got?
I got Buffalo. By 20.
By 20. You think
20. Zach Wilson playing. I got Buffalo by 20.
Yeah, I think Bills take care. I think they're coming off that. Well,
it don't matter that Zach Wilson is playing.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah, I think the Bills roll them. Even though I do like the Jets defense. All right, you got Cowboys with another cupcake game against the Texans.
My point exactly. This is my point. My point is right in front. Oh my God, my point is right in front. I got the Cowboys winning this game, but of course, see, I'm just saying, the method to the madness.
Right. Jeremy Forgy asked if Zach Wilson is playing. You sure it's not Mike White?
I'm pretty sure. I thought that on
did they go back to him?
Yeah, at the end of the game Sunday, they said that they fixed his mechanics and his attitude. So they said he's expected to start.
He probably got his ass beat in the locker room. Yeah,
probably.
That's crazy. All right, we got another NFC East matchup: Philly at the Giants.
Oh, I got Philly.
I think Philly in a close game, but I would say watch the upset alert.
I think it'll just be shocking if Philly wins by 10. Because that's how depleted the Giants roster has been over the last couple of weeks.
And we got an AFC South matchup: Jaguars-Titans. I'm actually going Jaguars in the upset.
I got the Jags in the upset too. I'm right with you on that for sure.
We got Kansas City coming off a loss, going to Broncos country. Let's ride.
Chiefs by 30. I'm not worried about the game.
He said by 30.
We don't worry about this. We don't worry about them over here. I'm definitely rocking. I'm rocking them. I'm jacking the Chiefs.
Oh my God, he said by 30. He did not say that.
We ain't worry about them.
All right. The Bakerless Panthers rolling up to Seattle to play Geno and the crew, coming off of a win.
Geno by 25. I got the Seahawks. I'm rocking the Seahawks. Seahawks just smacked them around. Like, I don't know if Darnold's playing or is PJ Walker. No, the Seahawks better win this game. You'll hear more about how I feel about the Panthers next week.
Yep.
How I'll be absolutely disgusted if we lose to the Panthers. I'll be just know we won't speak nothing Steelers if we lose to the Panthers next week. I don't care. I don't care if we have the playoffs or not. It don't matter to me. Better not lose. So yeah, I got the Panthers by like 30.
All right. We got to speaking of that Chiefs game. Tommy J. Burgess said by more, maybe it might be more than 30. And Pay said Patrick Mahomes is gonna make him pay real bad. Levante liked my my talk about his Giants. All right. Next up, we got a huge game now with playoff implications. We got 49ers as they figure out their quarterback situation going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady hopefully looking to make it. What would that be? 3 games in a row now, I believe.
I think so.
So what do you got? Buccaneers or the 49ers?
I got the Buccaneers by 10. The defense is going to keep them in the game, but I don't know who is, if it's Brock Purdy playing QB. I don't think I just don't see Brock Purdy out dueling the GOAT. So I'm gonna go Bucks. If it was Jimmy G, I actually would have picked the Niners to win this game.
Same.
But like without Jimmy G, no.
Same. And I do agree with Tommy Burgess that this is my game of the week. Bucks Niners. I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. I'm also going Buccaneers. However, I agree. If Jimmy G was playing, I was gonna go Niners. But I'm going Bucks now. I'm saying Bucks by 7. Brady scored the last second touchdown again. All right, a game that was my original game of the week, and that was Dolphins Chargers. I just don't believe in the Chargers no more, so that's why I switched my game of the week. Honestly, I think Miami coming off the loss. I think they're going to beat the Chargers by 14.
Yeah, I had the Dolphins by 10. My game of the week is actually the Lions Vikings.
Okay.
So like I got the Dolphins by 10. I don't believe in the Chargers, especially not Keenan Allen.
Said 10. Tampa Bay going to squeeze out a win. No Jimmy. I agree because I think Jimmy. I'm not saying he's amazing, but like I think what he does for that team is key in terms of winning close games. So I think without him, I think they roll him. Tommy Burgess has the upset of the week as the Chargers over Miami. Chargers by 3, he says. I can see it. The Chargers aren't a bad team. It's just they're not as good as I think everybody thought they'd be. And of course, ending next Monday night, Patriots Cardinals.
Oh, I hate both of these teams, but I'm gonna go like, ew, man. But like, I'm gonna go with the Patriots because like I like I like Kyler Murray as a player, but like I can't stand him and his stupid attitude.
Yeah,
and his coaching issues.
Like a kid.
Yeah, he's a child, man. Like so,
Yeah.
but like other than that, I'm gonna go Patriots. I'll go Patriots by 3.
Yeah, I'm going Patriots too. If they lose, they're done.
Yeah.
They lose, they're done. I'm going Patriots. I think the defense will suffocate the Cardinals. All right,
so definitely need more.
All right, so that's all we got for this week. Appreciate the love and support. Everybody watching on YouTube, Facebook. I see the numbers going up week after week. It's funny. Actually, somebody watched it, and they ran into me at the supermarket and recognized me. I thought that was kind of cool, but kind of weird. So we're going to keep plugging away. Appreciate the love and support. As always, guys, make sure you share the show so people can also watch us, and we'll be back next week. Tommy, you want to be on the show? Just let me know. We'll get you on next week. Steven Foggs, come on, man. Come on the show, talk some football. Remember, I was supposed to be the host, not a participant. Gridiron podcast, as always. Appreciate y'all. We're going to catch y'all next week. We out. Peace.